I'm absolutely fascinated with the sports, golf, and bowling. Yes, I know, bowling is on ESPN, so for me it qualifies as a sport if anything's on ESPN. Those are the qualifications. But I'm fascinated by them because they're the only sports that I know of that the game could technically be over before the full game has actually been played out. Right? Technically speaking, in any other sport, you talk about basketball, you talk about tennis and baseball and hockey, as long as there's seconds ticking on the clock, or as long as there's something that's going on, and you know, tennis, you can win all the points that, you know, before the game is over, right? You still have a chance to win, so there's a reason to play. But with sports like golf and with bowling, the game could be over before that happens. The other night, I was flipping through the channels and I'm watching bowling, and I'm wondering why on earth is this bowler giving it his full go? Why are they even playing? Right? It's already been announced. He can't, no matter how many pins he knocks down, it's impossible for him to win the game. Why is this guy still going? So I want to pose this question to my wonderful 8th grade boys. Why would that bowler continue to keep on going? Why not just cancel the game? It's over. He for sure can't win. Jacob.
Stats.
Statistics? What does that mean, statistics?
Like somebody searches him up, he now has a better record in, like, let's say, points getting than if he were to quit.
Okay, so personal achievements are still at play. Norman?
People buy a ticket to see you bowl, and this is what you do for a job, so you try to keep the people entertained.
So Norman feels obliged to the audience, to the fans, the spectators that came out to watch you. You should carry out what you told them you would. Isaac?
You know you're gonna lose, you might as well just give it your all. Like, you still try, you still keep trying.
Why? That's the question. Why do I keep on trying even though I know I'm going to lose? Why?
Because,
Last thought, Alan.
Maybe because it'll make you look bad.
Because maybe it would make me look bad. Okay. Good ideas. Boys, we have a flaw in our education system.
You know.
Jacob says we know. And the flaw, the way I see it, is that we do not maximize our learning opportunities at every step of the way. Now let's talk about the reality of education, right? The reality is your teachers need to know what you know. So they give assessments, they give you tests to find out what it is that you know. The reality is there are certain pieces of information that we feel you must know. You must know how to add. You must know the history of this country. You must know the history of our heritage and our Jewish people. Right? There are certain pieces of information that you must know. And you have to memorize. Right? I can tell you right now, I could still memorize every single parasha. Right now we're in Shemot. Shemot va'era bo b'shalach yitro mishpatim terumat tzaveh kitizah va'ekel pikudeh. I can tell you every single one by heart because in 4th grade, in Miss Babad's class, she made me memorize it. There's certain pieces of information that you must know. There's high school. We have to prepare you for high school. You're going to have 4 years of further advanced education. We have to make sure that you can compete and that you can perform at the levels of high school. And so for some reason, or for those reasons, it always comes down to the test. And instead of furthering our minds and exploring our curiosity for what it is that we want to know, we simply focus on the test. Maybe sometimes some of us, right? The teacher might ask you to review certain questions for the test. What's the first thought that comes into my mind? Is it going to be on the test? Because if it's not, why would I bother reviewing those questions? Right? Teacher may say, I want you to read the following chapters for tonight's homework. Right? You have homework. Read. Great Depression. Read it. All right. What's the first thought that might come into my mind? Is there going to be a question that's asked of me based on the reading? If not, why would I do it? Doesn't make sense to me. These are normal, natural thoughts that we have as learners in this education system. And I'll tell you why I think we do this. We are at heart adaptive creatures, right? Survival of the fittest. I always love to refer to survival of the fittest. I'm fascinated by how it is that we've evolved over time as a human species. It was required of us to adapt to our surroundings at all times. Just to show you how adaptive we are and how this works out. Funny story, over vacation, I was waiting to go out for dinner, and my cousin is sitting next to me with his phone, and he's playing a game. I don't really know what it's called, but I had to go through some water and pass people with a boat, and the boat kept sinking. I don't know what it's called, but it was a highly addictive game. I could not put this thing down. I had to finish first place.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have to hold on, you have to release, to flip, and the whole thing. Great. In the beginning of the game, I didn't understand what was going on. I kept sinking into the water. Till my cousin Isaac tells me, oh, you got to lift up when it's going and flip back over. Enough times, I adapted to the conditions of that game, and by maybe the 20th or 25th go around, I finally won.
Hey.
We are adaptive creatures. We figure out how we can successfully make through the circumstances that are presented to us at all times. You are now entering into what I would like to call dangerous territory. The second half of 8th grade. It would be extremely foolish and naive for every single person in this room to think that they are not susceptible to think the following thoughts. And that is, if I'm already accepted into high school, why try? Why should I continue to give my full efforts, right? In the first half of the year, I understood what was going on, right? I wanted to get into high school. I needed to boost up my GPA. There was a reason. And for any single person who's going to sit here and lie to me and tell me, oh, well, the high schools may revoke my acceptance because of second half of 8th grade, shtuyot, nonsense. If that's the reason why you're in this building, you should go home right now, because maybe they'll revoke my acceptance. That's not why we learn. You know why we learn, boys? We learn because we are fascinated by God's creatures. We love it. We look around and we're like, how does this work? How does a TV work? I don't even know how a TV works. All I know is you plug it into the wall and then it turns on. Anybody know how these pixels all formulate and make up picture? You guys know? Please teach me, because I don't know. Right? Anybody know how numbers works?
Yes.
And how every single time you put certain numbers together, it always works out that the way that they said it would work out is exactly how it works? Guys, once upon a time, you were inquisitive, you were questioners, you learned for the sake of learning. This past vacation, I was in Disney World, and my 5-year-old daughter was at True Work. We got to Rapunzel in the princess meet and greet, but my whole trip was princesses and everything. It was princess overload. But we get to Rapunzel. You know what, my daughter, 5 years old, she walks up to this princess, she goes, why is your hair so long? How did it get like that? Was it always like that? When did it go that long? Was it always like that from when you were 2? When you were 17? Should I cut it? Could we cut it? She had all these questions for Rapunzel. My daughter was like an FBI detective, like figuring out the mystery behind Rapunzel's obvious fake hair. Boys, we're in a unique time right now, the second half of 8th grade. And there are 2 types of people that are in this room. There are those, and again, there's no judgments here. And if this is your position, then this is your position. But there are those of you who are going to sit in this room and who are going to say, if I'm already accepted into high school, why try? The bowling game is already over, so why continue the match? I lost. No matter how many pins I knock down, it's over. Can't do it. But then there are some of us who are in this room who are going to think beyond that, who are going to think the following. It is never, ever a time that it's appropriate to stop learning. We don't stop learning, ever. And you want to know how you learn? You learn by asking questions. You look at life and you say, I don't understand how this works. I must know. I need to know how this works. Not just, can you tell me what the review is for the questions on the test? Right, I got it. Up until now, it's been very, very necessary for you to master every test that's been put in front of you. For high school purposes, for GPA purposes, we can debate the philosophical underpinnings about that, but that's the reality of where you guys have been holding up until now. But now you're at a point in your lives where the pressure is off, right? It hasn't happened yet, but in a few weeks from now, you'll start to find out about high school acceptances. And so that pressure of I must get into high school or I must have a good GPA, all that pressure goes away and you can go back to being those questioners, those learners, the kindergarten kid inside of you. You know, when I was your age, I got very, very mad at the way the tefillah system works. I didn't get it. I was angry. And I went to one of my rabbis and I said, Rabbi, this doesn't make any sense. These are not my words. These are the words of some other people that made them up. Why should I get up every morning and say those words? I want to say my words. That would make more sense to me if I could say my words. You know what my rabbi said at the time? Do it. Say whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say to God every single morning, get up and say it. And then you know what happened? I started to do that. And I started to realize that the words that I wanted to say were pretty much what was in the book the whole time. And the people in the book said those words better than I could. So I went back to saying those words in the book that we say every morning. But there's a process to growth and to life and to understanding who we are and what we want to do in life. And sometimes learning is not just about a test. Sometimes it's not important enough to know what's on question number 7. Sometimes it's who am I in this world, in this earth, and where do I belong? Who am I? You have the rest of the semester to take advantage of a beautiful opportunity. Learn. Ask questions. Understand who you are and understand how things work. Take advantage of something that you'll never get back. By next year in 9th grade, you won't have that semester of, oh, it's not so important. Every single semester, except your last semester in 12th grade, which they don't even give you because you end up going to work anyway at that point, right, will matter to you. Who are you? Are you the bowler? Are you the golfer who still gives it his all because he understands that it's never too late to learn about their craft? Or are we just going to say, you know what? It's not on the test. I'm already into high school anyway. It's not such a big deal. Understand who you are and let's be special. Let's go above and beyond. Let's continue to learn. Continue to ask questions. And make sure that you never ever stop learning. Shabbat shalom.
Coach, I'm gonna